Tuesday. So for those of you that tuned in last Tuesday, hopefully you did, we started out with the sharing of our stories and kind of our own personal transformation, which has, of course, leaked into professional growth and change. And we've really done a lot of talking in our Real Talk about like leveling yourself up and finding alignment and making sure that you're doing what brings you joy, and how when you are happy and joyful and in alignment, you're so much more successful, and that this personal and professional growth just are so interchanged. And that has been like the foundation probably of our conversations, Haley, since we started Real Talk, because we both really, really believe in it. We've both gone through it ourselves and still go through it, because it's not like something that you have that happens and then you never transform or change again. But we've lived through it. We are living through it. Our clients are, we're having daily conversations. And we think it's something that a lot of people don't really talk about, which is why we felt compelled to talk about it in our Real Talk. And so we've been encouraging you guys to share your stories, no matter how small they seem or insignificant, or, you know, get over yourself and your limiting beliefs and get out there and share your story. Because it does make a difference in somebody else's life. That's why we're here. And that's why we go through our own versions of life, is so that other people can be helped or inspired, or, you know, can feel something from that and go on their own journey. So we felt like we should probably lead ourselves by example here, because if we're telling you to do it, we should probably do it too. And both Haley and I have shared our story in different formats. We just hadn't done it here on Real Talk yet. So last week I had the pleasure of doing that. And this week, Haley is going to do that. So Haley, I'm super excited for you to share this with people. I think you're going to be very inspirational to many. We know that when you have one-on-one conversations and share this with people, it really makes an impact. So it's fun for me to sit beside you, not really, but, you know, in Zoom, and watch you really be able to share what you have, how you've changed, and what your life looks like and what your business looks like. I mean, you've just gone through some massive transformation. I've been pretty blessed to see it firsthand myself. And so I'm excited for you to share it. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away.
Yeah, so I want to start by really the foundation of what I have learned over the course of, gosh, I think I've been doing a lot of like inner work. I mean, really over like the past 5 years of my life. But it really started when I first had my daughter, which was 10 years ago now. And I really devoted all of my time and my energy and my soul and my spirit to being a stay-at-home mom. And I loved taking care of my children. I am naturally, I believe, to be a very nurturing person. And so it really suited me. And I stepped into that role very, very easily. About 4 years after I had my daughter, we had our son. And so that was 6 years ago. And I noticed very early on that how people, our society, spoke about stay-at-home moms was very it was very debilitating, in that it wasn't always positive. So, you know, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about being a stay-at-home mom. And for me, it was words like, well, where's your husband? Where's Larry? Oh, well, I'd say, well, he's at work. And people would say, oh, well, someone needs to bring in the money. Or, oh, don't you just stay home with the kids? Yeah, you just stay home. And so it was words like, it was that, and it was so, you know, people didn't say these things intentionally to hurt me, but I started really questioning myself, and I started to feel like I needed more. I was meant for more. And even though I was making a difference in these two little loves of my life, even though I was making a difference in their life, I knew that I was being called for more. And I felt guilty. I felt freaking guilty that I wanted more. And I had to be at peace with that. I was content with where I was, but that it was okay to want more. And so at that moment, when I decided to get my real estate license, I was petrified. I hadn't been at school. Like, I think I had graduated high school like 10 or 12 years, who knows, before then. And so I was like, okay, honestly, I've been sitting at home for 7 years, just being at home, right? Because that's what people said. I was just at home, and most of my conversation was with a 7-year-old and a toddler. And the most interaction I had was like playing with Barbies. That was my social interaction. And so I was petrified to step into a classroom again. But once I got there and I started
Mhm.
learning and digesting and internalizing and being in an atmosphere where I could actually contribute and bring value, I thought, this is incredible. I actually didn't feel like I had had that much self-esteem or that confidence in
Mhm.
years. And so I stepped into a real estate role in a really predominant and very well-known real estate team here in Arizona. And I felt like I was on top of the world. I really did. This was like the first time where I was getting out of the house. Carrie, I actually put makeup on, like I was wearing makeup. I was doing my hair. You guys, I was getting dressed every day. Like just that in of itself for stay-at-home
Mhm.
moms was such a big deal.
Yeah.
And my husband was super supportive. So we didn't have to put our kids into like daycare or anything like that. So he could stay home with them and I would go to work, go to the office, if you will, when he was at home. So our kids really
Mhm.
didn't miss a beat. And so I stepped into a leadership role on this team very quickly. Like within my first 30 days, I knew that I wanted to do more than just be an agent. I wanted to step into a leadership role. I wanted to manage systems, lead people, have really powerful conversations. So I moved up in this company very, very quickly. And throughout my entire journey, I came across amazing people who really helped me to transform my mindset, spiritually, professionally. I felt like I had grown so much. And I mean, there were countless times when I said, this is the family that I choose. You know, this is the family that I
Yeah.
choose, this tribe of people, this culture of people. Um, and even though I was content with where I was at, I still wanted more. I still wanted to
Mhm.
contribute more. I wanted to step into higher leadership roles. I just wanted to lead at a higher level than where I was. And sometimes that just doesn't sit well with people.
Mhm.
And there came a point where I had asked for more and I was ready to lead more. And I was told no. I was told
Mhm.
no. I was told, you're too entrepreneurial, you're too outspoken, you just want
Mhm.
too much, and we're not looking for that person. And
Mhm.
it was devastating. It was very crushing for me to of course, to feel like I was rejected and
Mhm.
to feel like these people, this community, this culture of people who I truly loved thought that at the time I was thinking like, am I not enough for you? How am I not enough for you?
Yeah.
And that's how I mean, I was just being human. That's how I internalized
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And it took me for a while to forgive myself and to forgive them and to come to a place of peace and also knowing that there is nothing wrong with wanting more. There was
No.
nothing wrong with wanting more. And so here's the message that I want everyone to take away from today. What I had learned in my journey, two things. One, you cannot change the past. I cannot
Yeah.
change anything that people said to me. I cannot change the fact
Mhm.
that multiple people said to me, you're just a stay-at-home mom, or you
Yeah.
just stay home, or,
Mhm.
about my husband, well, someone needs to bring in the money, right?
Yeah.
As if what I was doing wasn't contributing enough because it wasn't
Yes.
financially good enough. I can't change that. I can't change other people's perspectives on that. I can't change that I was too entrepreneurial in my previous role. I can't change that I wanted more and that I wanted to show up. And how I showed
Mhm.
up was asking powerful questions, interrogating reality, um, being excited, being driven. Um, I can't change that, right? And I can't change how people interpreted that. But what you can change is the future. That's the second thing. You can change the future. And how you do that is by adjusting the way that you perceive what happened in the past. Because I can
Yep.
sit back, Carrie, and I can say to myself, I was rejected. I wasn't enough. I can go back to being a stay-at-home mom. Maybe that's all that I'm good at. Um, I can take all of those things and I can internalize them and never get out of bed in the morning because if I took
Mhm.
every single one of these things that made me feel bad and I looked at
Yeah.
it as that this is happening to me, yeah, I'd never get out of
Mhm.
bed in the morning. But instead,
Mhm.
I shift my mindset and I look at these as opportunities to grow and to contribute in a bigger way because yeah, maybe the door closed. Maybe I had a few door closes or a few doors closed for me.
Yeah.
But is that really a rejection or is it an opportunity for me to pivot and see what other opportunities are out there. And so we have a choice on how we choose to see what happened to our past. Is it happening for us, or is it happening to us? And I choose to look at everything that happened to me happened because I needed to step into this greatness. I needed to step into this role. And I had to partner with people who, instead of telling me no, they asked me questions like, okay, well, who do you need to become in order to be that? Or what's the next step that you need to take? What do you need to do in order for that to happen for you? You want to be a CEO of a business? What do you need to do to get there, Haley? You want to coach people? What does that look like for you? How are you going to get clients? It's not no, it's asking me powerful questions so that I can actually start implementing those things. And that is what happened when you and I started partnering together. You were asking me questions like, how are you going to do that? Yeah, Haley, and I don't think I say this enough. Carrie, when you came into my life, she never said no to me. Never once said, no, you cannot do that. Everything that she said was just try. And I can tell you that going from a salaried paid position into being a contractor was absolutely terrifying, right? It was very scary. But partnering with the right people who ask you those questions and who push you, not because you don't want to be pushed, but they're pushing you because they believe in you more than you might believe in yourself right now. And I needed that in that time. And so I tripled my income from the moment that I left my salaried paid position. I stepped into the role that I knew that I could do this. I stepped into that role and I started tripling my income every single month because I changed the narrative. I changed the narrative of the things that happened to me in my past. So my message to you, as you're listening to this, is what are the things that have happened to you, or what are the things that people have said to you in the past? Are they holding you back, or are you using them to inspire you? Listen, when we pray, and I'm a Christian, so when we pray at night, or when you ask the universe, or when you meditate and you say, God, universe, whoever you believe in, when you say, give me courage, give me strength, provide me with opportunities, help me to be strong. Do you think that the next day you wake up and you're just strong, you're just courageous, you're just brave? Absolutely not. What happens is that the universe, God, they provide you with opportunities to be brave, to show courage, to inspire. And I was noticing that every single night I would pray with my daughter, we would pray together, and our son, and I would say, Lord, just allow us, the opportunities tomorrow to make an impact on this world, to show up, to have conversations that inspire people. And I would say this every single night. And I was so crushed when I, left this other job, this salaried paid position. I was so crushed at the time. And I was thinking, I thought that this was my opportunity. I thought that this was what I was meant to do. I thought that this was how I was meant to lead. And the reality is absolutely not. That was a stepping stone into something bigger, into this platform where we do have the opportunity to impact. We do have the opportunity to inspire, to share our stories, and to know that we are making a difference. That was a stepping stone. But I choose to see it that way. I choose to look at each one of those individuals as a guiding light. They were a beacon of light for me, because I would not be who I am if I didn't have them say those difficult things to me.
That's right. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, we all have somebody who said something and we're hanging on to that, but we're just thinking about it incorrectly. We can just change the way we think about it, and it can literally change how we feel, what we do, how we act, what we go for, and literally the trajectory of our whole life can be changed by just a little change in how we think of that and hold on to it in a little bit of a different way and use it for us, not against us. A lot of it is really against us, right? So that's a really, really powerful story. I think you're going to really resonate with a lot of people in a couple different ways. And the one is like, just really, you pray or ask for these things to come to you. And what we think is that we've all of a sudden just become courageous or brave. The reality, we all have these opportunities. We have to choose if we're going to move into them or not. And there's a lot of things that you've done in the last couple of years, particularly last year, that have been very scary and still are. And you're still moving forward because you feel like you are surrounded with the right people and the right opportunities. And now it's just a matter of getting into that daily act of courage, those small little, courageous steps that you have to make. As long as you keep moving forward in those, the opportunities are going to continue to arise for you. But the other thing I would just say is when you are closed off and stuck in something that you know isn't right for you, you can't be open for the other opportunities. So you could pray for those opportunities, but you have to let go of the other stuff and that part of you in order to be open to the next. And that's where the courage takes place, because people will say, well, I'm just going to hang on here for a little while and then kind of dabble in this and see how it goes. That rarely works, because you just have to make that decision, and you've got to let go of something and let go of who you think you are in order to become who you really are, who you really want to be. It is a distinction there. It's not like you can kind of ride the fence on that. And that is something that you have done, which has made an impact in your business and your life, and your opportunity and your growth. And that is another lesson that I think people just need to hear, because you might think that you're kind of embracing change, but you really can't kind of embrace it. You have to just do it.
And that's a really good point. And we can continue this conversation too, because it's very scary. It's very scary to let go of who you are to become who you need to be.
Yes.
Let me just say that again. It's very scary to let go of who you are in order to become who you need to be. But you are meant for so much more. And when we hold on to this idea of who we have been conditioned to be because of society, because of our parents or our friends or our partner, spouse, we're conditioned to be a certain way, to fit into a box, or what I say, a geometric shape, because it doesn't have to be a box, it can be a circle, triangle, whatever it is. We've been conditioned. And a lot of us are longing for more. Like I said, it's okay to be content with where you are and still want more. You don't need to feel guilty about that. The world is calling you, the universe is calling you to step forth and be something bigger. And it is terrifying, because that is when a lot of self-doubt, that conditioning, human response, the human conditioning, our parents, the inner voice that we might have, like I said, our parents, our friends, our partner, it's very scary, because we have to have the courage to step forward and say, I don't want these things anymore. I want to be bigger. And when you make that choice, that is the first step. And nobody is asking you. I'm not asking you to start leaping and start, running towards something else. I mean, there might be people who can do that, but for most of us, it's just small steps. It's small steps to build up the momentum that you need to become the person who we need you to be.
Yeah.
The leader, the agent, the CEO, the founder, whatever it is that you're wanting to do, you are everything that you need for that is already in here. It's already in here. You just have to be able to own it now and say it, speak it out loud, that you're ready to take this next step.
Yeah. And then it's the process of letting go of what you're doing and who you are in order to make room for that. And that's the really challenging piece. I think that would be a great conversation for our next Real Talk, Haley, because I've coached a lot of people through that process, and they never got to the next level, even though they said they wanted to. And one of the main reasons they don't is because they're unwilling to let go of and stop doing and stop being what they're identified with in that moment, because that's who they are, and they don't know who to be if they're not that. But you can't be something different if you can only be one thing. And so if you're that, you can't be this. And so letting go of that is part of the transformation. That's very, very uncomfortable and takes a lot of courage. And maybe we could talk a little bit about what are some of the tactics to do that, because people get stuck there. So let's talk about that next Tuesday when we're back. You guys join us. Of course, remember, go to Real Talk with Cari and Haley on YouTube if you want to listen to any of our past episodes as well. We'd love to hear what you'd like to hear about, or, share your comments. We love to read those and are really grateful to have the space to just talk about things that we're going through and things that our clients are going through. So thank you for the opportunity and letting us to do this with you every Tuesday. Thanks, Haley.
Thank you.
See you guys soon.